Hey everyone, what's up and welcome. Today we're back and we're gonna be playing some more Marvel Rivals, and I wanted to go into the practice range with all of you to get our hands on with Spider-Man. Spider-Man is by no means an easy character in this game. He's probably the most difficult character to play, but he's definitely the fan favorite. Everybody loves Spider-Man, everybody wants to play Spider-Man, but not everybody knows how. And since the game has launched, there's been a ton of tips that I've learned through spending tons of time in the practice range just practicing his mechanics, to watching streamers like Necros, who's incredible at Spider-Man, getting tips from friends who've also shared a lot of cool strategies. So it's kind of accumulation of all of those, and I just want to spit some no pun intended, spit some Spidey knowledge for y'all, and hopefully make playing him a lot easier. We're gonna break everything down today, from how his web swinging functions, how you can make it feel a lot smoother, to combos he pulls off, and even other cool little tips and mechanics with him, such as animation cancels, which allow you to chain together a bunch of different movements and attacks so much easier. So I hope this video helps you out. If it does, leave a like if you guys enjoy it. We'll be posting lots more Marvel Rivals content here, and you guys can look forward to that if you guys want to see more. So without further ado, let's get into the game. All right, so we're in the practice range, and to start things off, I wanted to break down all of Spider-Man's abilities, because until we have a fundamental understanding of his kit, we're not really going to be able to cohesively bring everything together. To start things off, we have Spider-Man's left click, his spider power. This is him swinging his fist forward to strike, and the strikes will deal extra damage to enemies if they're hit with a spider tracer. So if we run up, this is going to be a punch punch and a kick, punch punch and a kick, and the last kick deals a little bit more damage than his regular punches. If we move on over to his second ability, his right click, he has his web cluster. These are little web clusters you're going to shoot at enemies that will deal damage, and if they connect, they attach a spider tracer to the enemy. Once again, we're going to run up to an enemy here and do a base level punch. This deals about 1 tick of damage, but if we hit him with a spider tracer first and then we do 1 punch, this does about 3 to 3.5 ticks of damage. So hitting that spider tracer off before you engage is a very effective way to do more damage. It's a core part of his kit. Now you only have 5 of these, and they recharge in the middle of your screen, so you don't want to spam them, but you can hit enemies multiple times with them, and they actually do quite a bit of damage. So you could hit them with, let's say, 3 tracers, then get in there and then finish them off with an attack. Moving it on over, we're going to touch on his ultimate now, the spectacular spin. This launches Spider-Man into the air, shooting out a bunch of web clusters all around him to damage and stun enemies. And so if we go up here and we hit the ultimate, he'll spin in a circle and he does a ton of damage. Any enemy that's caught on that actually lives to see the end of that ultimate will be paralyzed. Basically, they'll be stuck in a web cluster. They won't be able to move for a couple of seconds. I'm pretty sure like 1 or 2 seconds. And yeah, it's a good way to disable your opponents too. Next up, we have Spider-Man's web swing. This is the ability to shoot a strand of web and fly around. This is how you be Spider-Man. At its core, it's super fun. I'm not gonna lie. It it gets pretty crazy, as you can see. There's a lot of nuance to it, and we'll get more into that in detail later. Next up, we also have his get over here ability. This is the ability to shoot webbing to reel in hit enemies, and if the enemy is hit with a spider tracer, they'll instead pull Spider-Man to the target rather than pulling the target to Spider-Man. So if we shoot this ability without the spider tracer, we'll grab the enemy and pull them in, which will bring them close to deal some damage. But if we shoot the enemy with a spider tracer first and then we use the get over here ability, will then go to the target. And this is really nice because when you hit them with this spider tracer, as long as you're within range, you don't really have to aim. You just can automatically pull yourself into the target, and closing that distance is what makes Spider-Man so powerful. Next up, we have Spider-Man's amazing combo, which is the ability to uppercut and launch the enemy upward. This will also deal extra damage if we have a spider tracer attached to it. So coming up to the enemy here, we hit him with an uppercut. Deals a good amount of damage. I think that was like 3 ticks of damage, but if we hit him with a spider tracer first and then uppercut, I mean, it's a lot of damage. It basically finished off half that guy's health. We're almost done here. We also have his thwip and flip, which is just the double jump. Most characters can jump, while Spider-Man can double jump. Quick thing to mention as well, if you double jump and then use your left click, you'll actually be able to downward punch, which is good if enemies are in the air. It deals more damage than a regular punch. I'll show it off here really quickly. Double jump and downward slash. It does like 2 ticks of damage, whereas a punch just does one. Next up, we have Spider-Man's passive, which are spider senses. This gives a warning of enemies that have been around you. You'll get the little spider senses tingling around Spider-Man's nice little round head, so you'll know if enemies are around you or looking at you. And then we also have wall crawl, which is the ability to stick to walls, and if you hold your other key, you can actually run up walls as well. I personally have everything set to hold here. I can crawl on the walls, and if I hold, I can start running, which is just really fun. It's a good way to get around the map quickly. The very last thing we're going to mention here are Spider-Man's current team up abilities, which is Suit Explosion. If he has a Venom on his team, this is a good way to finish off combos. And we also have his extra web fluid, which is in collaboration with Squirrel Girl, but it will give just Spider-Man a 10% damage boost if he is on a team with Squirrel Girl. We'll come over here really quickly just to show off the team up ability that he does have. If there is a Venom present and I run up to someone and I use this, I can activate the symbiote. And it lasts quite a while, to be honest, but it also has a pretty long cooldown. I'm pretty sure it's anywhere from like 20 to 30 seconds or something like that. I think it's more in the 30-second range, but this is a good way to add some extra spice into your combinations. And so those are all of Spider-Man's abilities, and I'd be lying if I said that wasn't a lot, because let's be real, there is a lot of abilities here. This is a lot to manage, a lot to keep track of when it comes to cooldowns, and a lot to combo together and make seem like one competent fluid experience when you put it all together. And so now that we have an understanding of his abilities, I'll kind of go through and give some tips regarding each ability that I've started to learn over my time playing Spider-Man and that I've learned from friends. One quick little cool tip I've learned with his standard combo, which is the punch, punch, and swing, is that when you use this ability, it remembers throughout your combos what the last input was. And so if I were to, let's say, hit a punch, punch, and then hit an uppercut, it would remember that after the uppercut, I had already punch and would do the swivel kick at the end, which is more damage than the regular punch. So once again, punch, uppercut, I'll finish with the kick. So the combo is remembered. It doesn't reset every single time. The next tip is for these web clusters. It's more so something I've just become aware of over time with these tracers. The more and more I've played Spider-Man, the more and more I've realized that his combos get a lot easier if you can land multiple of these web clusters. Now, these targets will die no matter what, but if you're scouting at an enemy, most people will hit one cluster and then just get right in there just to finish off another combo. But you see how much I had to do there after the uppercut. I had to uppercut, I had to punch him, I had to tracer him again. It was just a lot of util. But if you can hit multiple of these off to initiate, let's say they're fighting your team down below, and you can hit 1, 2, 3. By the time you go in, I'm pretty sure I can just kill him with an uppercut alone. So hitting those shots and being accurate and making more use out of your tracers before you even initiate can make the finish so much smoother. At first, I honestly didn't really mess with Spider-Man a whole lot because I thought he was just like a completely melee focused character, but he's got a lot of mobility, which makes him fun. And the fact that he only has 5 of these tracers makes him such a punishing character when it comes to aiming. You have to be extremely precise when you use Spider-Man. These web tracers as well are not hit scan, like they travel quite slowly, and so you do have to make sure that you're leading your shot like quite a bit with these things. It's something you can kind of feel out in the range on these targets here. You can kind of get a feel for their travel speed, and it'll help translate better into game. Next up, I wanted to give a tip for his ultimate ability. Like I said, this stuns enemies if an enemy were to survive and stay in his ultimate for the full duration. So it is a great way to stun enemies and help your teammates combo up potentially their ultimates to get better usage out of them. I know Psylocke has an ability that absolutely decimates people, but the only weakness to her ultimate when you pop it is that enemies can just kind of run away and try to get out of it. But if you comboed it with the Spider-Man ultimate, they would be trapped down essentially and have to take the damage no matter what. So it's good for more than just damage. But one thing I will say is that you don't want to use this ultimate and just run into a space with a bunch of full HP targets and pop this thing if you're looking for kills, because 9 times out of 10 it's just not going to kill them. Like, people have enough health, people are going to be getting healed. It'll be a waste if you just run in and spam it. Oftentimes when I use his ultimate, I actually like to go in and initiate with a combo first, hit a little bit of that, and then finish it in the air with my ultimate. If you were looking for a specific target, that is a great way to get damage in initially and then pop the ultimate to secure any finishes that you might not get. The next set of tips I wanted to go over were regarding his web swinging functionality. This is Spider-Man's most enticing feature. I'm going to be real, this is probably what makes people want to play Spider-Man most of the time, but until you get an idea of how it works, it's a headache. And so pretty much everything at a downward angle is going to make you swing differently than if you're looking straight ahead or anywhere above. This is what makes Spider-Man so weird, in that you see a platform that's above you and you're like, I want to go up there. It's so simple, just swing at it, right? No, that swing will take you directly under. It'll leave you frustrated. You'll end up failing 5 times, then being like, fine, I'll just climb up there like a spider. And then you're like, oh my god, his climbing's clunky too. You just get frustrated. So basically anything, like I said, at a downward angle will zip you straight to it. This is going to be a quick way to get to health packs. If you see them around, oh my god, I'm low health, right at it. You see an enemy there, oh my god, I want to go at him, you swing at him. But you do see as well, there is a little bit of an animation after you pop this. When you pop the zip, you do a little bit of a cartwheel at the end. Little cartwheel. Little cartwheel. So there's a delay before you can start attacking. Now, if you do see anything above ground or above eye level, this is going to cause you to go into a standard Spidey swing. Now, this swing is based on camera movements. Whether you're playing on controller or whether you're playing on mouse and keyboard, you're going to be able to go in the direction that you're looking. And so you kind of want to guide your camera to initiate where you want to swing. And outside of that swing, you're going to get a nice little leap of movement, which is a great way to be able to fly, process what's below you, and maybe hit some web clusters to then initiate on a combo.
You'll be all right.
Once again, if we see this pillar is a great example in the firing range to get this mechanic down and just understand how the camera movement works. If I just look straight at it, I'm going to go to where my camera is. I'm still going to swing, but where my camera is. If I want to go around it, I'm also going to look to go around it.
Pretty sure those
We're going to go around it. And you can just keep looking and you'll keep swinging. It's super fun. The next tip I wanted to give for the web sling is how to go about reaching platforms that you see like this. Even though we know that the web swing is camera based, if I wanted to do a big swing, going sideways is still not very comfortable. It still makes getting up here a little bit awkward. And we do know that if I were to dash, I'd have to be going at a downward angle. So what is the best way to get onto a platform like that or like this? The best way that I've discussed with my friends is to either just downward dash at a wall next to it and then just start climbing, which is still fairly quick, but it's not as quick as this method, which will allow you to attack right away, which is something my friend kind of discovered. If you double jump and hit a regular swing, this is going to be one of your camera directional based swings, and release your swing right before you get to the platform, it'll stop you from dipping under and you'll be able to jump out of it to get on top. So once again, we're gonna do a double jump, swing, release, double jump. And now we're up here. There you go. We were able to achieve height without looking like a nonsensical Spider-Man. Double jump, pull, jump. And then we're up on the platform. That's a lot quicker. Like I said, if that's still too much of a struggle for you, you can just pull yourself in, climb the wall, and run up it. That's also very speedy. This does take a little bit of timing because you have to let go of the web swing before you hit the jump. You just saw right there, I kind of fell down. You'll come up a bit short. So it's very tight in terms of timing. See, you can mess it up. It's something you do have to practice. Double jump, pull, release. And now we're up on the platform. The next tip I wanted to go over was for his get over here ability. I don't use this get over here ability nearly as much as I do with the pull in after attaching him with the tracer. But in one instance that I find using this get over here ability quite effective is if your team, let's say, is pushing down like a tunnel or, you know, close quarters, you're kind of fighting through doorways and whatnot, and it's just an absolute shite show. Guns are blazing, everyone's fighting, but as Spider-Man, since you're so squishy, you can't do a whole lot. You can't flank around them, you're indoors. If you run in line of sight, you're gonna get obliterated by gunfire. And so being able to kind of peek corners very subtly and just use this very precisely, you gotta be accurate with it. But if you can pull in an enemy into your full team, it's almost a free pick for your team. And it's a lot of value. It's a great way to isolate targets and get picks. This can be done at any point. Anytime you're skeeving around and you feel like you have a clear shot on somebody, I mean, it's always better if you can just get the enemy to come to you rather than having to go to it. Now, the next tip I have is for his amazing combo, the uppercut ability. This uppercut is honestly so much fun to use, not only because it's a core part of his combos, which will allow you to chain together some attacks, but there is a special animation cancel, or I guess it helps you carry your momentum when you're web swinging. If you've ever seen people fly around this practice range at 1,000,000 miles per hour, it's probably because they were using the web swing. If I'm swinging off, let's say, this pillar, and I finish it, I have this little woo-ha diving animation Spider-Man hits. And I can chain this into here, into here, and then you can see how short I am into here. But if you really want to carry your momentum, the uppercut is one of the greatest movement tools that Spider-Man has. This is probably the best angle to show it from because I'll literally go to the other side of the firing range. We're gonna hit a big swing here. We're gonna carry that momentum and we're gonna uppercut. And we're all the way over here again. And then that final animation that Spider-Man has finally carries through. But you can send yourself, man. Use this uppercut. It's a great way to traverse maps and allow your momentum to carry and to travel super far. It's #1 web slinging tool. Now, please do be careful though, because one wrong angle, and I'm telling you, can accidentally fly yourself off the map because you send yourself so far. I hope these tips are helping you out. Like I said, I'm trying to do it as compartmentalized as possible, running down each ability individually. But if they are, like I said, make sure to drop a like on the video. Next up, we're gonna go over is Thwip and Whip. The double jump, the double jump, like I said, is just a double jump. There's not much to it. It is a good way to traverse cover. Don't forget, you can stick to walls and run out of these double jumps. To be blunt, I don't really have a tip for the double jump. Just know it's the double jump and it'll help you get around the map. And to finish it off for his passives, his spider senses, just keep an eye out. They honestly go off quite frequently, but they can tend to be ignored. So it really is a key information tool. Just keep an eye. It'll let you know if someone sees you when you're sticking to a wall above an enemy you think you're hidden from. The wall crawl is going to come down to map knowledge. There's just a lot of spaces where you can genuinely be completely out of sight, out of mind from enemies. On certain maps, there's even like a little bit of decor and environment effects up on the edges, like goop and stuff. And a lot of times Spider-Man can kind of almost go into the effect and be completely invisible. So learn the maps, learn cool spots where enemies won't see you high up, learn little pieces of cover you can kind of exploit to hide inside of, and it'll make getting picks even easier. And there's one final tip I want to go over with Spider-Man that is genuinely a pretty technical skill that will take some practice, but if you can get it down, it can make clustering together web swings even easier. It has to do with his web cluster. These things are just an attack, but they do help cancel the animation of a downward web sling. You see the little cartwheel we hit at the end there that we mentioned earlier? If you were to hit a web swing out of this, it cancels the animation and you can bunny hop out of those downward web swings. So if you can chain them together nicely, you can actually be a lot more elusive rather than being stuck in a... You see the difference in speed. In addition to this, I can't attack when I'm caught in this cartwheel animation. Whereas if I hit a bunny hop, I can throw more clusters. I can chain together my movements. You stay nimble. You look like a real Spider-Man into a combo. Like I said, jump, jump, downward dash, Spidey. 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 I'm calling it Spidey, but they're stickies, the web clusters. This is his right click. I basically do it as I hit the floor. I do it as I hit the floor and I start jumping at the same time. If I were to break down my fingers right now, it's web swing, cluster, jump. Web swing, cluster, jump. Cluster, jump. Cluster, jump. Cluster, jump. Now, I'm still practicing myself, but you can even carry these cluster jumps into the uppercut. Into the uppercut. That took me so far. It's kind of crazy. Like I said, you can hit a double jump into a cluster jump, into an uppercut, into a swing. You might have a second uppercut available, into an uppercut, into a cluster jump. Like it's crazy how far you can go with this. It all just chains together, and Spider-Man is basically just a big momentum simulator. You can hit all of that to be in the air, to cluster a guy again, and then finish him off with a combo. It gets super flashy. And so now that I've given tips for all the abilities, some of you are starting to see how intertwined his entire kit is, and potentially how this could lead up to you into combining it all together. And that leads us now into this next section, which comes down to combos. Combos, there are a ton of combos to perform. There's honestly probably limitless amounts of combos, but I kind of want to go over a couple that I thought were pretty solid and probably my go-tos that I've been sticking to and mainly used when I play. One of the main combos that I generally use is just a web cluster into a pull-in, uppercut, punch, punch, punch. That's what I spam a lot in
You'll be
game.
alright.
In addition to that,
Someday.
you saw it took 3 punches after I uppercut him. That's quite a bit. That's where web clusters, multiple web clusters on target before you engage with the pull-in can make all the difference in the final end game damage you're dealing to the enemy. So 1, 2, 3, you got 3 shots off, pull in, uppercut, 1 punch, and
you
he's
went
dead.
down
In
pretty
addition to
hard.
that, you can land clusters afterwards if you pulled in. If that's too much, let's say they're aware of you and you only get 1 cluster off, a pull in to an uppercut to a cluster to another punch can make those follow-up punches after the uppercut easier. Like I said, I did uppercut with a cluster and then I did some more punches to deal that extra damage. You do have to remember that with these combos, the web clusters are super important between attacks because if I hit a web cluster, pull in, uppercut, the
Watch out,
uppercut
they're headed our
consumed
way.
the web cluster. I no longer have sticky applied. And so when you uppercut, you want to
And
reapply
stay
sticky,
down.
then follow up with more attacks. This main combo that I use can generally be seen when you're flying up and you're above somebody, hit a double jump, you're in the air, then you pull yourself in from the air,
Oh, you
and you finish them off. Another combo I like to do is with the pull-in. This is if you're going to be grabbing the enemy and bringing him to you. This would entail a pull-in, a sticky, an uppercut, a sticky, and then a punch to finish him off. And it's quite quick. So pull in,
Now I gotcha.
sticky, uppercut, sticky, punch, and then he's gone. It's a great combo. It's
You'll be
something you
alright.
can do if you plan on bringing
Someday.
the enemy to you. And those are pretty much the 2 bread and butter combos I use. Like I said, there are a ton. You can spice it up. You can get mixy matchy, but as 2 base combos, that's generally what I stick with. 1 for when I engage and 1 for when I'm trying to bring the enemy to me. Now, another quick little tip for combos that I really wanted to throw in here is how to make advantage of Spider-Man's mobility without having to burn his bread and butter little pull-in, because this pull-in is extremely
Fight for the good
valuable.
guys
Oftentimes,
next time.
you're going to be pushing the enemy backline. You're going to be going for targets. You're going to need to bait out enemy utility. You're going to be able to deal with multiple. You're going to have to be able to deal with multiple opponents at the same time. Burning such a useful piece of util at the beginning of your engagement leaves you pretty vulnerable,
Pretty
other than
sure
having
those
to
are
just
bad
swing
guys.
out and being like, I have to survive. You're off the scene. A cool tip my friend showed me yesterday to save that critical piece of util is to web cluster the enemy and then pull yourself in manually. Once you pull yourself in manually, you can cancel that somersault animation with an uppercut, and it basically simulates the same thing as when you're pulling yourself into the enemy, except you could save the auto lock for a more
Pretty
dangerous
sure those
threat
are bad
after
guys.
you engage with the first opponent. And then once you uppercut them, you can just continue your regular combos from that point. So once again, we're gonna go sticky, sticky, pull myself in, uppercut, and then finish with a combo
Fight for
from
the
there.
good guys next
It's
time.
doing the same thing as his bread and butter, except this is a little bit more stick shift instead of automatic. So we're gonna go sticky, sticky, pull yourself in, uppercut, and we're gonna finish him with a combo again. So to show you all what I'm trying to preach in theory is the ability to combo up 2 enemies in one push,
Pretty
which
sure
wouldn't have
those are
been
bad
nearly as
guys.
easy otherwise without the auto lock being saved for the second target. We're gonna go sticky, sticky, sticky. We're gonna mainly push in. We're gonna uppercut, punch, punch.
Oh, you went down
Now we're
pretty
gonna pull
hard.
ourselves in and finish off that second target. That got pretty snazzy, I'm not gonna lie. Once again, you're gonna go sticky, 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 pull yourself in manually, uppercut, punch, punch. You still have the double jump into the pull-in, uppercut, finish him off. And this is beautiful because you always have 2 uppercuts available, so you can hit 2 targets in an actual game. Now, the beautiful part is you'll probably still have a web swing available afterwards
Pretty
to just
sure
get
those
right
are
out of
bad
there.
guys.
And it saves this special web pull ability, which goes on like 7 or 8 second cooldown, to bait out utility, to disengage, to re-engage when they don't have utility, and be able to finish them off for real. So once again, we're gonna go sticky, 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 manual pull in, uppercut, punch, punch, double jump, sticky, pull in, uppercut, and then fly away. And we're off the scene.
Fight for the good guys
Maybe
next
with an
time.
uppercut getaway if you got it back in time. Who knows, man? Firing range, you can do crazy stuff. And the last tip I think I'm going to mention for this video, I think we pretty much went over everything I could think of talking about, is just the collaboration with Venom. Make sure you're making utilization of this ability if you have it in game. It's a great thing you can throw into combos or the end of your combos that will just do a lot of damage for free, basically. So if we go sticky, sticky, manual pull in, uppercut, punch, punch, and you know another guy's nearby, you could just start messing them up right away. Make sure you're clicking it though to cancel the ability. You have
Watch
to
out,
click the
they're
button
headed our
again,
way.
or you'll kind of ride out the entire duration of that ability. And it's quite long. You're very susceptible to damage in it. make sure you cancel it. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for tips and tricks regarding Spider-Man in this video. Like I said, I've learned lots over the past few days. I'm sure there's still endless tech to learn with Spider-Man over the coming more. Everything I learned today, like I said, I've spent lots of time in the firing range experimenting with things. I've learned from, once again, streamers like Necros, who's he's an insane Spider-Man. You guys should definitely go check him out. He's nuts, and I've learned from friends and just a bunch of tips here and there. So yeah, I hope all that together made for a pretty conclusive tips video for Spider-Man. I hope it helps you out. I hope you learn lots, and happy web slinging. I hope you get some kills and try not to die too much, man. Catch you guys in the next video. Subscribe if you guys want to see more, and I do stream live every day on Twitch. If you guys want to watch me there, link is in the description. Thanks so much for supporting the channel. Catch you guys in the next one. Keep up, stay up. Peace out.